The Christmas episode is a coveted TV tradition. It's when characters do things, but on Christmas, or they just parody a Christmas carol, and then those episodes get revisited yearly, regardless of if the show's still relevant. I'm looking at you, assorted Hanna-Barbera Christmas episodes during Cartoon Network holiday marathons. Anime is a medium that also loves their Christmas episodes, so we want to find some of the Christmas classics that are hidden away in our favorite anime. Sometimes Christmas is the center of attention in these episodes, while other times it's just a backdrop for the main conflict and you might not even notice the holidays going on. But either way, it's Christmas and these characters are having a party, or buying gifts, or even meeting Santa. Also, nostalgia played a big factor in our choices, so expect plenty of anime broadcast on Toonami, Adult Swim, and your local Blockbuster. And joining me is everyone's favorite anime fan, Judgment Meter.
It's me! On Christmas.
Now, let's deck the halls with our top 10 Christmas episodes of anime. Number 10, Azumanga Daioh with episode 17. Azumanga Daioh is a funny slice-of-life, semi-surreal, wacky anime about girls in a school just having conversations or going places. The episodes comprise of short segments that can work as standalone clips, so this episode is only partially Christmas-themed. Some of the segments could work any time of the year, while others followed some Christmas conversations, so we'll be focusing on those segments. My favorite bit is when the girls are wondering if the youngest of them still believes in Santa, to which the other girls debate about the logistics of Santa if he actually existed. You have some of the common theories, like that he can get around the world in one night because he's super fast, or that he can pick locks at houses that don't have chimneys. But my favorite explanation that one of them gives is that Santa is able to afford toys for everyone in the world because he's government funded. Santa uses taxpayer dollars to run.
Like, oh yeah, our hard-earned money is going to fund the Christmas initiative.
Then I like how the conversation gets flipped when the youngest says that she already knows that her dad is Santa, to which the girls misinterpret that as her saying that her dad is Santa for the whole world, and it's just a funny interaction. And yes, her dad is this cat thing. It makes more sense if you watch or read the series, though it still kinda doesn't make sense. Kagura takes the Santa conversation one step further by also speculating if reindeer actually exist. Good theory.
I mean, reindeer are fantastic mythological creatures, no?
No, they're just animals.
Are you sure? Because I've never seen a reindeer strutting down my street. I did see 3 deer yesterday, though, crossing the street in the suburbs. I screamed, "Watch out! Watch out! Deer!" I was very concerned and overprotective.
The episode ends with them going to a karaoke bar for Christmas, and it's just a fun, wholesome time. And get ready for me saying fun and wholesome a lot on this list. Number 9, Excel Saga with Big City Part 2. There is no Big City Part 1. This anime is just wacky like that. It's been a while since I've spoken about Excel Saga. The baseball video was the last time. This is a very funny anime about 2 women named Excel and Hachan trying to make ends meet by doing odd jobs for an evil organization trying to take over the world, but they usually get distracted and sucked into some other parody of a different anime genre in the meantime. Only about 25% of this episode is actually Christmas, but Excel Saga is fast and loose with how much the story changes per episode, so that's pretty normal. They managed to cram a lot of Christmas into that 25%.
What started out as a lovely Christmas episode turned out to be a detective show with a lot of dying, arson, burglary, kidnapping, explosions, cars driving off cliffs. You know, just your regular Christmas.
Excel is excited for Christmas since that's the festival when Excel gets presents, which the leader is not happy that she's enthusiastic about for its commercialized capitalistic ways. However, Excel says that she read ahead in the manga, so instead of scolding her, let's just move the plot along, and the leader agrees. But first he gifts Excel a trapdoor to the crocodile pit for the holiday, but includes a toolkit to kill it so then she can use its skin to make something fashionable. I like that we see that she was able to make something out of it later on. Anyway, when the girls work at a Christmas booth for a store, Excel explains how she killed the crocodile as Ha-chan bleeds out since she's constantly dying, until her reindeer outfit is covered in blood. And then we get a fast-moving sequence where the coroners take Ha-chan, pronounce her dead, Excel finds them, tells Ha-chan to wake up, and then they leave, only for Ha-chan to then get kidnapped by some burglars. $2. And that ends up being all for the Christmas in this episode. As mentioned, this show transitions out of plot points for new wacky antics constantly, but the Christmas theme was nice while it lasted. Though I do like that the episode that follows this one is the New Year's episode to stick with the continuity. They even reference Y2K in the preview for the next episode to make this a bit of a time capsule.
1999 was a tough year for everybody, especially Rudolph.
I also want to give a shout out to the B plot of this episode, where a detective parody is working with city security, and she talks with a gruff cliche voice when she has her hat on, but when it comes off, she goes into friendly mode, and then when she tells security that everyone can be friendly with her now, one of the members pops up and says, "I'm very friendly," and then she awards him 5 points for being friendly, which he's happy about. There's no established point system. I love how smoothly this joke went. Number 8, Pokemon with the Pikachu's Winter Vacation Shorts. Pokemon and Christmas have always been a strange combination that works out well in the end. They had a Christmas episode in the first season, and a bunch of Christmas shorts that were later adapted to the Pokemon Chronicles series, where you see the Pokemon generically have fun and go on low-stakes adventures led by Pikachu. There was also an English soundtrack with the voice actors who sang original songs about Christmas, but Judgment Meter hates that CD, so that's a less fond memory for her.
I don't like them singing.
I initially questioned why a real-life holiday like Christmas existed in this Pokemon media, but looking back, in the first season of Pokemon, they had various real-life Japanese holidays like Children's Day or Hinamatsuri, Dolls Festival, which the dub generalized to Kids Day and the Princess Festival. So having another real-life holiday isn't that out of the ordinary for this point in Pokemon's history, considering we were only in the second generation during these shorts. A few were even made during the first generation. Nothing groundbreaking to note in these shorts, it's all visual storytelling, but I do like that most of the issues in these shorts were caused by the main Pokemon that could have been avoided if they just did not play in the snow. Like they build a Snorlax snowman and it comes to life, and then it gets them lost at sea when it falls down a hill, but then they find a legion of Snorlax snowmen and things are pretty. Or when a Delibird falls out of the sky and loses a present that it's trying to deliver, the only reason it's in this predicament is because it was hit by a snowball that Totodile lost control of throwing, showing that Totodile is bottled up chaos. Also, when you think about it, Santa Claus being a consistent character throughout these shorts means that he's a rare one-off character that appears later on in the anime. He was in the Christmas episode of the first season, and then he's in these shorts, thanking the Pokemon for taking care of his Delibird and Stantler. Like, how often do characters return that weren't in the games in later episodes of the anime? You have like Duplica and Casey, and now Santa. I'm sure there's more, but that's all I can think of right now. It's funny how when Santa appeared in the first season, neither Delibird nor Stantler existed yet, so the writers had to improvise on what Pokemon felt the most Santa-themed with the limited pool of Generation 1 choices. Santa used Jinx as elves, which made sense since they were the only ice-type Pokemon that weren't part water, a telepathic Lapras, which was notable since it was one of the first Pokemon who could talk, but no one ever brings it up, and you'll never guess what the reindeer stand-in were before Stantler was created.
In Gen 1, time to bring up the list.
It was Ponyta.
That's funny. It's a 4-legged equine, but it's hot and not cold like you would expect in the Arctic.
You got a favorite Santa Pokemon?
I like Lapras. That Lapras is giving you the come hither look. I'm a little confused.
So yeah, Pokemon Christmas, it's fun. Go watch it. Or don't. Number 7, Cardcaptor Sakura with Sakura's Wonderful Christmas. This is a classic anime where a girl named Sakura has to collect all the cards that she accidentally released from their vessel, and now there's a whole bunch of branching plotlines and characters going on, but you just need to know that we're collecting creatures that spawn from cards with magical powers and attack during inopportune times in public, and the card in this episode attacks during a Christmas festival. I like how the Christmas plotline is introduced in this episode. Sakura is spacing out with visions of a potential antagonist that she'll be seeing later on, and when her friend is asking her what's wrong, Sakura gets distracted by a random Christmas wreath on a door floor and is like, "Whoa, Christmas is coming up. I didn't even think about the month or time of year. This wreath reminded me. Forget everything that was happening before." Sakura wants to get the perfect Christmas/birthday gift for Yukito, a friend and later boyfriend of her brother, and Yukito gets to chaperone all the kids at the Christmas celebration at the amusement park, where you get to see him be wholesome with everyone. So wholesome that Judgment Meter can't contain herself around his charm.
Aww, wholesome man.
But when Sakura is looking for the right time to give Yukito his gift, she gets distracted when a card attacks, and you'll never guess what thematic power this card has. Actually, you might. It's fire, cause you know, it's wintertime.
Wouldn't it be a snow monster? Wait, is there a snow monster? There is a snow monster. There's a snow cloud. Oh, sorry. Let me look it up. I'm checking it out. I am right. There is the snow.
I like how it introduces itself slowly. It just burns a single wreath and then stops until it feels like attacking later. Anyway, the fire makes its grand appearance by setting the lights aflame, and we get a nice little fight to contain and capture the fire. And then we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming, where Sakura gives Yukito his gift on the Ferris wheel, which ends up being a doll that she made of him, further showing the wholesomeness levels. The episode closes out by using the fire power that was just captured to create some sort of fire rain effect to make the Christmas sky beautiful. Isn't that a hazard? All those sparkles look like they're flammable.
I'm gonna say it's like fairy lights that are like magic and not balls of flames raining down on you. Just shooting stars now, but fire.
I don't know. I think I still would have found a way to make it snow instead. Number 6, Tokyo Mew Mew with Tears of Brilliance, A Christmas for Two, and Miracle of the Holy Night, The Night of Vanquished Secrets. This is probably not a good one-off set of episodes to jump on into without knowing the plot of this series, since we reach the climax on a romantic storyline in these episodes, but to summarize, it's a magical girl anime. Ichigo and her friends turn into animal-themed magical girls, and they've been tasked with fighting aliens who have some connection to Earth. They hate what the humans have done to the planet and want to reclaim it. In these episodes, we have a fight right in front of the big Christmas tree. Ichigo is going to see her love interest Masaya as they set up the big Christmas tree in the center of town, but since 36 episodes preceded this one, she feels guilt for hiding her magical girl persona from him. Even so, she wants to get him the perfect Christmas gift to show her feelings to him when they meet up. The older mentor girl of the group suggests a piece of jewelry called Tears for Christmas, and depending on if you had to watch this in fan subs back in the day, they unintentionally do one of those according to Keiku gags, where they say Tears for Christmas in English, both verbally and in the subtitles, and then in Japanese they clarify that it's called Chrismisu no Namida, both verbally and in the subtitles, but with a translator's note that it means the English words that they were just saying over and over. I love 2000s fan subs.
I love how the wolf girl is the wise one, and everyone looks up to her, and the other girls are like, "When are you going to teach us about love?" Well, when you get a significant other, that's when.
Anyway, a major fight breaks out with the aliens when Ichigo is waiting for Masaya, where the team has to prevent the energy being built up at the star of the tree from exploding. You get a nice fight sequence, and the girls manage to put their powers together to dampen the explosion, which avoids everyone in the general vicinity of the tree, except the love interest waiting. That's an unfortunate coincidence. But through the magic of tears and love, she brings him back and reveals her secret to him right in front of the Christmas tree, and he's like, "Cool, I kinda figured." While this seems like another plotline where Christmas was more the backdrop for the episode, the scenes of all of these characters working at the cafe show them in much more of the Christmas spirit. I really like how enthusiastic the youngest of the group is to be in a reindeer costume at work. I can't tell if she's legitimately happy to be wearing this around Christmas time, or if she's just good at putting on a show at her job and doesn't really care, since behind the scenes, she was like, "Hey, is anyone else going to be wearing this reindeer outfit?" To which the chef responds, "Yes, everyone will be wearing this," and then she cheered in response. Once again, I can't tell if she's just happy that everyone will be in the Christmas spirit now, or if it's a misery loves company situation and now everyone has to suffer in these costumes. Either way, I love her reactions.
Everyone else was like, I gotta wear a reindeer costume. I'd say F that.
But you'd still wear it.
But I'd be disgruntled.
Even if you worked with the enthusiastic one?
But she looks really cute.
Number 5, Sailor Moon with Sailor Moon S the movie, Hearts on Ice. We're bending the rules a bit here since this is a movie, but if you want the ideal Sailor Moon Christmas experience, this is one of your 2 major options, and we'll cover the second one later in this entry. There are 2 converging plots to this movie. One involves Luna being in love with a human, which she knows can never be fulfilled since she's a cat, even though she has the intelligence and vocabulary of a person, but we do get to see a human version of Luna for a brief time, which is funny if you watch the 90s English dub, because they gave this cat the voice of an elderly British woman, which was very unfitting for her human appearance. The more action-oriented plot involves an extraterrestrial princess named Kaguya who wants to freeze the Earth just in time for Christmas. You have a flurry of snow and ice powers with this villain, along with her henchmen known as snow dancers, which have your typical monster of the day mindless destruction moments. But since it's hard to celebrate Christmas when you're preventing the world from facing annihilation, the more Christmassy moments of this movie appear before the fight and during a bit of downtime. The intro of the movie has the girls in Town Square, which appears to be some sort of Christmas festival, or maybe they're doing some holiday shopping. It's meant to just be a fun visual display of all the characters being themselves during the winter break. Usagi eats, Minako tries on clothes, Ami buys books, and it appears that one of the manga that they're reading is Sailor Moon, creating some sort of paradox. I don't think that's Sailor V. And then probably the most famous scene in this movie, after one of the snow dancers attacks town, when Tuxedo Mask is doing his normal throwing a rose entrance, he disguises himself as Santa Claus for some reason and decides to play the bit by saying, "Merry Christmas," and then reveals that he was Tuxedo Mask the whole time during the "and have a happy new year" for one of his coolest entrances ever.
Suddenly, he's wearing a mask. And he had a hat on this whole time.
He had a hat on when he was Santa too, just the top hat was apparently under the Santa hat.
Oh, it was compressible. Got it. He really thought this through.
I like that after he does his motivational monologue that doesn't do anything, the snow dancer just looks at him in confusion and shrugs like, "What the hell am I supposed to do?" before going back to attacking. And as mentioned, there's one other piece of Sailor Moon Christmas media out there, being their 2 Christmas albums, featuring the voice actresses singing in character, either being Christmas carols or contemporary songs. Their cover of Jingle Bells is the definitive version for me. I also really like Sailor Mars's cover of Last Christmas. Another cool thing about these CDs is all the original art on them. They almost look like screenshots from a lost Sailor Moon Christmas episode, though it's a bit uncanny seeing Santa with Sailor Moon eyes.
It's unsettling. His eyebrows are a bit too bushy.
He looks a bit better from the angle on this picture.
Oh, big slumber party. I love how Mini Moon is just right on top of Serena. That's how my niece sleeps on my sister. Just all of it. I want to give you no room whatsoever. Ugh, kids.
Number 4, Toradora with Mercury retrogrades at Christmas, and the 2 episodes after it. Toradora is a romantic comedy anime where 2 high schoolers, Ryuji and Taiga, are trying to help each other pursue their love interests, but also become closer in the process. Does that mean they'll get together in the end? I don't know, but you'll have to watch to find out. In the middle of the series' ongoing storyline, we get a 3-episode arc where it's Christmas time, and we get a whole lot of holiday activities. Gift prep, tree decorating, a school-wide Christmas dance, and even the main character dressed as a bear, dressed as Santa. There's still a lot of episode time dedicated to the ongoing plot, so it's hard to look at all aspects of these episodes without knowing the whole series, so instead, we'll cover our 2 favorite elements of these episodes. First, everyone decorates a giant Christmas tree. Surely nothing can go wrong here, and surely me saying that nothing can go wrong indeed means something goes wrong. Anyway, Judgment Meter, tell us what happens.
They all come together and they decorate this tree. Isn't that so sweet? On Christmas, they come together and work as a team. Because when I was in school, I remember I didn't want to work as a group. I didn't want to work with anybody. And no one wanted to stay after school to do squat. We didn't want to do anything. That's terrible. On a vacation, holy cow, no. You wouldn't see me anywhere near school. Anywho, they were decorating the tree and it's like a huge huge tree. So they have to use like thousands and thousands of tinsel and twinies and decorations and angels and whatever. And they're like, oh my God, we need something at the top of the tree. So Tyga's like, I want to share this special star thingy that I have because it's special to me. And you know what? You're special to me too. And they're like, don't put it on. That's expensive. What the heck are you doing? And she's like, no. I love you guys. And I love Christmas. And I'm good today. Screw tomorrow, but I'm good today. And they put it all way up and they secure it. And they're like, wow, Christmas tree. And then suddenly, smack, baseball comes flying through the window and crack, it smashes the thing. And she's like, what? Didn't think that would happen, except who didn't think that would happen? Because, like, come on, plot device. And then her friend comes in and is like, hey, wow, that went really far. Where's my baseball? And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And Tyga's like, it's fine. And she's like, no! I gotta glue it. And it's fine now.
Well, that's hard to follow up. The other plot point we like is that Tyga, who is normally cold and unfriendly, loves to give gifts to everyone during Christmas time. You want to cover this too, Judgment Meter?
I mean, she loves to give presents, and boy, howdy do I love to get presents. This is probably one of the most wholesome things of the show. She loves to give presents to people who don't have any presents, and those specific people are little children in orphanages, and sends them anonymously. And she's like, oh my God, Santa sent you presents. And they're like, oh my God, Santa sent me presents. They're like, what? And she's like, what? And then she feels so good. And then they feel so good. And she's like, yes, good deed.
Number 3, Big O with Demon Seed.
Hold on. This is Heaven's Day. That's totally different than Christmas.
It's clearly Christmas. The episode takes place on a holiday on December 25th and has a festive tree, and it's snowing, and there's people dressed as Santa Claus, and they even say Merry Christmas on the show's end card. This is Big O's Christmas.
I did not see but one reindeer.
You get a lot of classic Christmas plot lines in this episode, like the main character not wanting to celebrate or give gifts, another one-off character wanting to buy a gift but it's too expensive, a giant demon plant attempting to take over the city, and it snows. Perfect Christmas. Dorothy is the android assistant to the main character and millionaire Roger Smith. She wants to celebrate Heaven's Day as she likes to do things that are tradition in human society despite her cold and emotionless outside. However, Roger wants nothing to do with the holiday because he's not the joyous type.
Dorothy's forever picking on Roger for being a terrible person. And he's like, yep, I don't know anything about people or their emotions. And I'm not even an android. And she's like, I'm an android and I know that you suck.
Butler Norman tricks him into getting a gift for Dorothy, but along the way, he crosses paths with a street saxophonist named Oliver. Oliver wants to get the same clothes for his girlfriend for Christmas that Roger was going to get for Dorothy, but he can't afford it. This leads to Oliver's main role in the episode, which was to take an emerald egg from a mad scientist dressed as Santa, leading Roger over to Oliver during an investigation. Oliver just took the egg because he thought he could pawn it off for some Christmas cash, but that will soon lead to the chaos. Why did the Santa give this to Oliver anyway?
So that it will turn into the giant and take over the city.
No, I mean, like, what was his end goal of hatching a giant demon plant?
Plot device.
So Oliver plays the saxophone on the street as per usual when the emerald egg, known as the demon seed, hatches and uncontrollably grows vines all over the Heaven's Day Eve celebration in the City Dome. And then we get a standard cool Big O sequence where Roger gets in the Big O mech and Big O takes out all the raging vines and saves Oliver, who's holding on to them. After that, we get the wholesome Christmas moments of Roger exchanging gifts with Dorothy and Oliver's girlfriend just being happy that it's snowing and she gets to be with him for the holiday, as Oliver plays Jingle Bells on the saxophone to close out the episode, further showing how Heaven's Day is no different than Christmas with that song.
Paradigm City's in the weird time where nothing makes sense and they don't have Christmas. That of course has to be Christmas by another name, but they still need Christmas because Christmas is fun and you get presents.
What I love about this episode is all the flavor. There are small visual moments that add to the scenes, like Roger peeling potatoes with Norman since he's not afraid to get his hands dirty helping the butler, or when Oliver preserves ham by giving it all to his girlfriend and just pretending to eat on an empty plate.
And all the chewing noises just to keep her happy. And she's like, yeah, my boyfriend lies. He's a little but I love him.
And we didn't even cover the part when Roger casually asks Norman to pick up Dorothy's gift when he's fighting the vines, so Norman gets on his motorcycle like a badass, crashes through the store as it's falling apart, and comes out with the gift and the employee to save them.
Norman!
And probably my favorite bit is when Roger and Dorothy exchange gifts. She gets him an identical black tie to his whole wardrobe since he's boring, and when Dorothy puts on her new dress coat that Roger gets her, she spins around in a happy way but has her emotionless robot facial expression on the whole time.
Her facial expression never changes, but she feels it inside. I love her. She's having the best time of her life.
Man, the aesthetic of Big O is so appealing. This show deserves more appreciation. The music's good too, since when I went to skip over the theme when we were rewatching this episode to write for the list, Judgment Meter stopped me and had me go back to the very beginning.
I love them. They're necessary.
And when I paused the episode to turn it off when we got to the end, she had me unpause it so we could listen to the end theme.
So I just gave you the death stare. You know what not to do. We're watching this through.
Number 2, Ranma 1/2 with A Christmas Without Ranma. Ranma has 2 Christmas specials. One was a part of the actual series in the middle of a season, and the other was an OVA released separately. The OVA was alright, having cameos from a lot of one-off characters coming to a Christmas party at the Tendo Dojo, and we get some normal antics, but since it came after the series Christmas episode, I tend to prefer that one instead of the OVA. The episode manages to go smaller scale than a big Christmas celebration, but still gets all the important characters in there without feeling overburdened by cameos. You tend to not get all of these characters in the same episode usually. It has a lot of heartwarming relationship plot points, along with the normal Ranma comedy. My favorite gag might be at the beginning when Son and Genma are talking about how they're Buddhist and they don't care about Christmas, until Kasumi comes out and says they'll get a big meal to celebrate the holiday, and then they're like, hooray for Christmas! My next favorite gag is probably in the scene after, when Moose is walking out of a store with a gift he bought for shampoo, and Ranma accidentally bumps into him, causing Moose to drop the gift on the road right as a steamroller is passing by and it gets flattened. Like, what are the chances? And Moose hates Ranma because Shampoo's in love with him, but Ranma is just indifferent towards Moose because he doesn't love Shampoo, so this does not help their one-sided rivalry. But it does start the story of this episode. Akane wants random stuff for Christmas, and she thinks that she's just throwing her requests to the wind since Ranma seems to be acting like his jerkish self, not caring. But once the conflict with Moose starts, Ranma continuously gets bounced around to different locations that just so happen to be in the vicinity of other girls in love with him. Despite saying that she doesn't care, Akane pursues Ranma's mystery locations both because she loves Ranma and neither of them want to admit it because it's a Rumiko Takahashi show, and because Ranma may be in trouble. But every time she gets to a new location, she was told by one of the girls that Ranma left in a hurry. And then all the girls fight about who gets to spend Christmas with Ranma, even though Ranma would have said no to everyone except Akane. I love the shot of all of them on the roof. It makes me wish we could get a well-choreographed battle royale with all the characters at some point, since they barely fight in this episode. So with Akane leaving and giving up on trying to find Ranma, Ranma instead finds her, only to reveal that the reason he was running this whole time was he was trying to find the gifts that she wanted for Christmas before all the stores closed, and he managed to get them all.
He listened to all of her words and got her all of the presents just like she asked. What a good lad.
And then for the finale, we find out that all the characters end up at the Tendo Dojo for Christmas dinner, so everyone gets to spend Christmas with Ranma, platonically. And we get our answer that Ranma would have chosen Akane, which anyone could have seen coming.
He really walked in like a couple. It was so sweet. It's like, oh, look, all of our suitors are here.
We get a nice shot of every major member of the cast that showed up in this episode. It makes it feel like a quaint little Christmas party. I like it. And I guess Ryoga only makes a cameo as P-chan despite being the third most important character in the series because they had no room for him here.
Ryoga was just a pig the whole time. That's normal. That makes sense.
For number 1, we just went with the episode that was the most fun. We don't have a super complex decision algorithm for this one. Number 1, K-On! With Christmas. This episode is just one fun moment after another. You don't even need to know the plot of this series to get into the episode. The series is about a high school girls band club, but there's no music practice or concerts in this episode. The girls have nothing to do on Christmas, so they just hang out on the day off and do Christmas stuff. Each one of them gets screen time where you get a good glimpse of their personalities based on their bombastic reactions. The opening of the episode shows the main sisters, Yui and Ui, when they were little kids. All the younger one, Ui, wants is a traditional white Christmas, so Yui surprises her by ripping the fluff out of a pillow cushion and making exactly one tree somewhat more wintry, and the wholesome levels are off the charts with this. Let's see if they can keep it up. Move forward to present day where they foreshadow an eventual gift exchange where Ui says that she lost her scarf and Yui lost her mitten, so they share their respective scarf and mittens on the way to school. Anyway, the girls in the club decide on having a Christmas party at Yui's house, enabling loads of potential antics. There's going to be food and a gift exchange and even a talent show of sorts, because you know the talents will be bizarre. Now time to run down the greatest hits of what ensues. When shopping for Secret Santa gifts as a group, Yui wants to buy a big stuffed animal that she hopes to get, only to be told that she can't rig the Secret Santa because if you pull your own name, you have to choose again. So then Yui is like, on second thought, this smaller, cheaper thing is what I'm getting instead. Why couldn't she just buy the plushie for herself too? Limited money, or are they using club funds for this party? Then Mookie wins a raffle to get a trip to Hawaii, but she exchanges it for a much less expensive board game that they can all play at the party together. Wholesome, charming, I love it. In another scene, when Yui is telling her more responsible younger sister about the party, Ui knows that Yui will mess up everything if she tries to help cook, so she puts her on decoration duty to distract her from eating the food early. I also like how Yui takes credit for making the cake, but follows it up by saying, I put the strawberries on top of it. Like she wasn't trying to exaggerate her role, I just think that she thought she actually put a lot of work into her strawberry placement.
Yui is a little bit of a troublemaker, not in a bad way. She just knocks over the food and makes a big mess and burns herself on the stove. And Ui's just like, in the nicest way humanly possible, get the F out of my kitchen. I have to get stuff done, but I love you. Okay, thanks, bye.
When they're all at the party, their music teacher inexplicably shows up, and take that as literally as possible. She is all of a sudden sitting at the table with them with no transition of how she got in, and everyone is confused and a little terrified. And now she's ready for the gift exchange, since she uses the gift that she was going to give her now ex-boyfriend that we do not speak of.
Crazy teacher gives the scary zombie video to Mio, and she's the one who's scared of mostly everything, and she just dies a little inside. And she's like, you were gonna get this for your boyfriend? And she's like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Ah! Well, it has to go somewhere. It can't just lie around the house.
Then Yui and Ui get each other in the gift exchange and exchange new scarves and mittens to follow up that opening and make the audience go, aw. Ui performs a puppet show at the party since she thought there was going to be a talent show, but Yui reveals that she was just joking when she told her that earlier, so the rest of the girls improvise a talent show to make it a reality. Ui's puppet show wasn't particularly funny, but I think it was cute. The best talent though was the teacher, who said that she could make handprint shapes, only to slap her stomach real hard and say, it's a maple leaf, about the basic handprint shape. Lots more happens at the party, but we'll leave it off there. We also get some payoff for the White Christmas opening to the episode with a real White Christmas, and more of Ui and Yui being wholesome. So for having a slice-of-life Christmas party with a bit of unprecedented goofiness, K-On! Tops this Christmas list. Now, what did you think? Did all these episodes capture the holiday spirit? And which anime would you add? We know there's hundreds of anime that we haven't seen that covered Christmas, so there's a lot we missed. Let us know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, happy holidays, and we will see you in the next video.